Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since you've seen the desk. 4:43, I believe it is Tuesday. Oh, don't quote me on that. But this is an update. I got to make sure that I don't wiggle the phone around too much so you don't see too much because there's other things on the desk that I left there to spoil this. But my Mobula 7 project has come to a grinding halt. I got my frame in yesterday and started working on it and got to the end to find out that it didn't work. So what ended up happening, I have no idea. So here is the original Gen 1 Mobula 7 board, Spectrum, not that that matters. I decased the camera so I could put it into the shell. Don't need the LED in the shot. So what I ended up doing was taking off the dual plug PH 2.0 connectors. For people that aren't into drones and don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about, the power plug that came off of this, instead of it just being a single plug, actually was run, I think that's parallel series, I forgot. But there's two plugs instead of one. And power wire went to one, ground wire went to the other, and then there was a jumper. And what this allowed was that you could fly this with a 1S battery, a 1-cell battery, with a plug in one of the power plugs, which I don't have handy, of course. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. No, I don't. And then you could fly it two 1S batteries, and it was significantly faster and a lot more fun. But for people that were new into it and stuff like that, the 1S made it much more tame and manageable in the house. But what I wanted to do after watching a few videos, and this is not the exact plug because it's just representation. So I soldered, let's see here, see the two pads there. Yeah, there is two pads, trust me. Yeah, right in there. So I added an extension and an XT30 for better power transfer, less sag on the battery, and all these other nerdy topic things that some people won't understand or care about. So I wired it, plugged it in, and tested it, and it worked fantastic. All good to go. So I'm like, yay. Put a battery on the charger and built what I was going to build, and it was super kick-ass. But the problem was, as soon as I plugged in the battery, nothing happened. No smoke, no weirdness. I don't understand. So for shits and giggles, to see if it's still powered up, if something was smoked or bad inside of it, I plugged in the USB for programming, tuning, and all that fun stuff, and I have the app on the phone. As soon as I plugged it in, the board powered up. So the board's getting power. I was able to change, because I went into it anyway because of one of the settings I had to change. I didn't want to say what it is because it'll kind of give away some of the fun. But I did that change that I needed to do, saved it, backed out, golden. So I put props on the quad, and absolutely nothing happened. You can even hear the little click when the connector makes connection with the battery. So I am dumbfounded. I unsoldered and tried different plugs, different wires. I didn't even put a plug on it, but bare wire and stripped it back, went right into a battery. I cannot get it to power up. There are no other pads on this. So in my mostly educated opinion, that it's no longer any good. None of these pads, if you arc when you plug in a battery, you will know you've done something wrong. It makes a mega snap pop noise. Usually there's smoke involved, and it's no fun for everybody. And there's a lot of swearing involved. But none of that happened this time. If there was, you'd see smoke, burnt, blah, blah, blah. There is some flux on there from cleaning it. Maybe I put too much heat onto one of the pads. Maybe one of the pads lifted, but it's still attached. It's tough to see. Like I said, that's just flux. Ignore all that stuff. But these two pads look fine. I was able to solder them multiple times while talking with my buddy Bry, trying to establish some kind of something. So this leads down the bunny trail hole of what do you do? Can't find this board anymore because it's older. I believe it's 2 years old. It's an F3. What would be the point of getting another F3? I found the Mobula 7 Lite board, F4, which would mean it would fly better, but it's different. It has a VTX video transmitter built into the board, where this one, it was built in here. So I could save this camera once I figure out, and if anybody knows the color schematic on this, so I can cut it off and just use it. Obviously green is your tramp wire, and that means that you can control through your controller OSD on-screen display to change the channels and all that fun jazz, or this button. Obviously I've got a power and a ground, but one is video in, one is video out, and I'd love to know that so I could use this on a tiny whoop or something and just cut it off. So I'm probably going to go with the light board, but what that means is I'd have to buy a new camera, which sucks ass, and the DSMX or Spectrum board doesn't actually come with a Spectrum receiver built in. Why in God's name that is done is well beyond me. I don't understand it. This one has the Spectrum DSM, DSMX, whatever, built into it, so there is no external receiver. So I'm going to have to purchase a external receiver and a camera, add a little bit more weight, which I'm fine with. It's no big deal. It's super tiny, the receiver, smaller than my nail. But I'm going to end up having to do that. So I'm probably another week or so out. These are the leftover parts I was going to save. And then figure out a battery option. And like I said, the 1S, 2S, the board is only a 1S, so I can sacrifice. I got enough 2S things. That is probably the simplest of the compromises. So I'm kind of frustrated, but it comes with the hobby. You can only get so mad. I'd rather have blown it up and known I blew it up, so that way I can at least be like, okay, this is what happens. My OCD, when something happens and I cannot figure out why, it drives me nuts. I've been thinking about it all day. Couldn't sleep last night for just restless reasons, but it was on my mind all last night too. So pissed off, but it's all good. It's all good. Eventually it'll get there. So the project is in a slight delay. But yeah, other than that, I got some more kick-ass footage I'm working on. Started doing some edit that Brian wanted me to work on. If you watch this, so you'll see this is not colored. This is completely as flat as you can get. So you'll have an idea, an appreciation for the time and effort that goes into the coloring and all that fun stuff after the fact. But today's Taco Tuesday. That makes my day. I can't be mad. I'm going to shove tacos in my face. Other than that, like I said, I got a bunch of edits. I probably have 6 videos that I've uploaded private to YouTube or unlisted, whatever it is. And I got 3 more I got to make. And I'm just slowly like releasing 2 at a time a week just to keep it flowing. And I should probably be doing more desk stuff because I've been working on some stuff. Sweet Tooth, a rebuild that I was working on, has been done for a week or so, and I haven't sat down and talked about that because that's pretty neat. And I haven't seen anybody else really talk about that in a while. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Hope y'all doing well. If you're in New England, it has done nothing but rain and be gloomy for like a month straight. At least my front yard is green this year and not dried out. But I'm going to get back to editing. I'm going to stare at this for a couple minutes more. But yeah, if anybody has had the Mobula 7 and knows what color, let's see, yellow. What we got here? There's yellow, I'm assuming video. So it's blue, I don't know, blue, green, and yellow. Yellow is usually video. I don't know if that's video in or video out. We'll find out. Usually yellow, I would say, is video out, but anybody knows the colors, help me out so I can chop that thing up and use it for another project. Thanks for watching. Peace out.